This is Hashtag History, episode 128. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this week, we're throwing it kind of far back in history, further back than I typically go.
Yeah.
This season, we've definitely visited some older topics, such as Joan of Arc, and even some of our history of the British Museum.
Yeah.
But many of our listeners know that I tend to stick to more modern history. Throwing us all the way back to the War of 1812 a handful of weeks ago was kind of a stretch
as far
for me.
back, yeah.
That was like ancient history, ancient times. This week, we're going to be hanging out in the 16th and 17th century.
Wow.
Today, we will be discussing Galileo Galilei. He is considered to be the father of modern science, and by the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy is considered to be, quote, a, if not the, central figure of the scientific revolution of the 17th century, unquote.
Could you imagine having those kind of accolades under your belt?
No.
You are what made modern science today. Thank you.
And while he was, during his lifetime, totally recognized for being a genius and his contributions, later in life, things took a turn. So to learn post-life, like after your death, that you are regarded that highly is just... No, I have no concept of what that feels like.
Yeah.
We have Galileo to thank for significant contributions to various fields of science, mathematics, philosophy, and physics. He studied and made huge contributions to areas such as gravity and relativity, inertia, and speed. He invented a better telescope for viewing planets and other objects in space. He was brilliant, and I cannot wait to dive into all of these major accomplishments and achievements that he made in the fields of science, physics, and astronomy.
Yeah.
But most interesting to me is the way that Galileo's life ended.
Of course.
Of course. Of course, this is the most fascinating piece to me. Over the course of his studies, Galileo became convinced of heliocentrism, the concept that the Earth rotates and revolves around the sun. This was contrary to the popular and religious belief at the time, geocentrism, which states that the Earth is actually at the center of the universe, with all of the celestial bodies, such as sun, moon, planets, and stars, all revolving around it. Galileo's heliocentric beliefs were incredibly controversial, particularly with the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Because it's not all about us now.
Yes, exactly. Who had his claims investigated more than once before eventually forcing him to recant his beliefs and placing him under house arrest, where he would remain for the rest of his life.
I'm surprised they didn't just murder him.
There was a possibility of life imprisonment that was reduced to a house arrest for reasons we'll get into.
Okay.
There are reasons why he was treated a little more favorably than
because he was
his
a public
counterparts.
Figure?
No. You'll see. You'll see. But before we get there, let's do this drink thing. Okay. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah. And this is Hashtag History, the podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
Yeah, why am I like trying to figure it out before you get into the episode? Jeez, ruin the surprise, Leah. Okay.
A surprise that's like hundreds of years old.
I know.
I mean, I didn't know either.
I don't know it. Yeah, I don't know how he died. Okay. Our podcast BFF, Tux Lurzol from Beyond Reproach, bought us a total of 3 cocktails.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yeah, he left us a cute little love note that said, "You guys are seriously the best, and I wish we could buy you some drinks in person, but this is the next best thing." And I would one-up that statement and say, I don't want you to buy me a drink in person, Tux. I want you to make me a drink.
Yes.
Because he makes amazing drinks.
He makes amazing drinks.
At least visually. I mean, I've never tasted it personally.
That's true. They could taste like garbage.
But I kind of don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Yeah. So if you haven't, go check out Beyond Reproach. They're an amazing podcast. Tux and then the other host, Stephanie, are just our favorites.
They're our favorites. We talk about them practically every week. We talked about them last week.
Yeah.
Because they're amazing. And I would love to be able to go do drinks with them in person someday.
Yeah. And Tux does an absolutely amazing job with their cocktails, and they dig into scandalous stories of American history. And it's just really good. They actually get me excited and interested in American history.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Me too. It's so hard to get interested in American history.
Okay. So today's cocktail is quite simply the Galileo cocktail.
That's great.
Or at least my spin on it. Okay. Because as you know, Rachel, I wanted not only to make this week like simple for us recording wise, I was challenging myself to not have to buy any new ingredients. And I didn't.
That's great.
Yeah. So the Galileo cocktail originally contains tequila, Campari, vermouth, triple sec, bitters, lemon, and then ice cubes. And so I did all that except the Campari. I decided I wanted to kind of pay homage to Galileo and use Galliano
I love this.
liqueur instead of Campari.
I mean, you're switching one gross thing out for another, and one fits the theme better.
Yeah, so Galliano is also like a liqueur, and it's like a bitter liqueur, but it leans more like licoricey and vanilla-y to me and the internet than Campari does.
And just to give some behind the scenes, the entire time Leah was making the cocktail, she was like regretting every life decision she's ever made.
Every time I poured myself one of the ingredients, I went, why?
Why am I doing this? Why?
This is stupid.
However,
it smells good.
It smells good. When you finished putting together, we both did a sniff test.
Yeah.
And the sniff test was pleasant.
Yeah. So who knows?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers.
Charles.
Is it good?
It's good.
Like really good?
It's f***ing good. I will make it again.
So I'm really glad that you swapped out.
I don't think I would have liked it with Campari because that is significantly more bitter than Galliano is.
I'm so glad you like it.
It doesn't make sense.
What are you rating it?
8.5.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That might just be like a shock factor playing in here, but like I can easily drink it. I've drunk half of it already.
Half of it's gone. For someone that literally 10 minutes ago was saying, I hate my life. Why did I do this?
Well, that was because I stubbed my toe.
Well, yeah, that's to be fair, that wasn't all in relation to the drink. To be fair, your toe was pulsating and purple.
Right.
At the time. And then the drink was on top of that.
How's yours?
Mine tastes like orange juice.
Yeah, she just made herself like a really, really tasty. I tasted some of it. Mocktail, like margarita.
Yeah.
Margarita.
Sugar water.
Sugar water with some fake spirits in it.
Wow.
Shocking.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
I know. You guys, I'm going to recommend it.
Wow.
Sub out that Campari with some Galliano.
Genius. I'm so glad that you did that last minute.
You urged me.
All right.
Okay.
It might not be obvious because math, science, but I have always been really fascinated by Galileo. This interest was sparked once again when my sisters and I did a girls' trip late last year to San Diego and visited the Air and Space Museum, where they had an amazing exhibit about Galileo. Are you laughing because I'm a nerd?
No, I'm laughing because you were like, I've always had an interest. A year ago, I went to the
I have been interested in Galileo for 6 months. No, I have always been interested in Galileo.
Yeah. This sparked that. It
reignited.
Yeah.
Recently.
Right.
It was not my first time hearing about Galileo, but I was reminded of him.
Right.
When I was in San Diego last year at the Air and Space Museum, where
that museum's so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah. It's like in the park, right? Balboa Park. Yeah.
Which is also super cool and
very cool.
We did spend an entire day there just going to all the different museums and just checking out. There's so much architecture there too.
Oh, and the garden, the rose garden, or
there's a Japanese rose garden in there.
Yep,
it's really beautiful and really amazing. And at the Air and Space Museum, they had this exhibit about Galileo that included several of his experiments that were interactive, where you could like mess around with the experiments yourself to test out gravity and inertia and speed. It was really cool and really nerdy. I would highly recommend checking out this exhibit if you are in or passing through the area. But unfortunately, as I was researching this episode, I learned that the exhibit actually ended earlier this year.
Oh,
which is a big bummer.
Yeah. And actually, it reminds me, I don't know if it was a Galileo exhibit, but I went to in Munich, like a science museum in Munich, and it reminds me a lot of the same kind
interactive
of
stuff. That's cool.
things. So maybe it's a moving exhibit.
Maybe. Yeah. If it moves somewhere near you should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
It was really cool and totally worth the $700 that I spent on tickets.
Are you?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
However, I will say that I had just been in DC the week before I went to San Diego.
And free.
Where the country's greatest museums are free in DC. So going from that to then paying $25 a ticket for every museum that were a fraction of the size of the ones I saw in DC, it was hard. It was hard. Make museums free.
Yeah. Hashtag. Make museums free.
I'm going to hold up a cardboard sign. Make museums free.
Just on the street? In my court?
Yeah. Okay. Like one car passes down every 6 hours. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I mean, I know there's so much more to making museums free.
Yeah.
Donations and contributions. So contribute
to your local museum.
Please.
Yeah.
Because how amazing would that be? How many more people would go to museums if it didn't cost them an arm and a leg to go?
I would go so much more frequently to our local museums if they were free.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Moving on. Galileo Galilei was born in Pisa, Italy on February 15th, 1564.
Whoa.
Yeah. We refer to Galileo by his first name because that's how he was referred during his lifetime.
Was that common for the time?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think, we refer to every other historical figure really by their last name. But during this time period in history in Italy, surnames were considered optional and were really only provided if someone needed additional clarification about who exactly you were.
Okay.
So if someone really wanted to know who you were, you would say, hey, my name is Galileo. I'm the son of Vincenzo Galilei.
From Pisa.
Or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was customary to be addressed on a simple first name basis. So that's what we'll be doing in this episode as well.
Honestly, that's not that different from now. I would never introduce myself as Walconis.
True.
Like in just like how I go around introducing myself and people know me. I'm Leah.
This is true, but if you were included in a history textbook, we'd be referring to you by your last name most likely.
Well, yeah. It's because it's a cool last name.
I mean, there's that. Yeah, I mean, if your first name was Galileo, is more needed, but
right.
But it was customary at this time. But I do find that really interesting. Why do we only refer to Galileo? Why do we not call him Galilei when we're talking about him? But it's because that's how he was referred to during his lifetime as well.
Got it.
Speaking of Galileo's father, Vincenzo, he was super brilliant. He was a musician who was actually responsible. I think you're going to find this really cool being a guitarist. He was responsible for conducting experiments to better determine the correlation between pitch and tension on the strings of musical instruments, which is really cool.
Yeah, because strings on instruments probably back then were mostly air, like a lot like a violin kind of string is now. And now it's like a metal string, and I don't think it was back then.
That's cool.
So there was a lot more tuning, and
I'm sure, if it was
fiber, it was some sort of fibrous material.
Then tension would matter a lot. I mean, tension matters now, but tension would super matter then. And the correlation between tension and pitch, to be working on experiments with that's really cool.
That is really cool.
Galileo's family would move to Florence when he was young, and here Galileo was super well educated, having grown up rather religious and also having been privately tutored by monks for a period of time. Galileo originally considered a career in religion. He would later enroll at the University of Pisa in 1580, where he intended to get a medical degree. He would never complete this degree, however, but what he would find while he was at university was that he had a significant interest in mathematics. This was much to the dismay of his father, who was bummed that Galileo did not pursue a different career. Oh, why is your face like that?
I'm just what parent is disappointed in a brilliant mathematician child?
If the alternative was becoming a doctor?
Well, no. I guess a musician.
Or well, yes. And you're right.
Yeah.
And his dad I mean, he obviously would have preferred that he pursued a more lucrative career in a field such as medicine, or, like you literally just mentioned,
in the arts or something.
He even would have been happy with him, becoming a musician as well.
Yeah.
His other son, Michelangelo, Galileo's brother, had followed in his father's footsteps and become a musician. I've read a lot about Galileo's dad. He does seem like he was a supportive parent. I think just everyone as a parent, you want the best for your kid. And in a capitalistic society, the best is a good paying job.
Yeah.
you know?
Which maybe a mathematician isn't at the time going to pocket a lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When Galileo left the university in 1585, he would do so without a degree, to which I want to sing Beauty School Dropout.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Instead, he gave private lessons in mathematics to students throughout Florence and Siena. But he began to get some notoriety and was invited to provide lectures to the prestigious Florentine Academy, became the chair of mathematics at the University of Pisa, and started publishing work on his many experiments.
Nowadays, you try to become like a dean of a mathematics college or something without a degree.
Try to become a data entry clerk at a state job without a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
It goes to show how brilliant he was.
Yeah.
It's around this time that he was conducting experiments on gravity, one of which involved him allegedly dropping different objects of different weights from the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa to see which hit the ground first. Galileo found that both objects hit the ground at the same time, regardless of weight, which was in opposition to what Aristotle had claimed a few thousand years before. This was pretty controversial, going against what a great mind like Aristotle had said.
Yeah.
It was so controversial amongst his colleagues at the university, in fact, that his contract there was not renewed when it ran out in 1592. This wouldn't be the only time that Galileo's experiments and subsequent theories would create waves.
All of which
were right. Interesting how that works. People don't like change.
Well, it's not just change. People don't like being challenged. Mic drop?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, me too.
Hard relate. Hey everyone, we are so excited to share with you about Macy's Wine Shop. Yes, it is that Macy's. Macy's has launched their very own wine shop, which includes full-size, delicious wines curated by their experts coming from renowned wine regions, which include our home state of California and beyond. You can select exactly what type of wine you are looking for. Do you love reds? Do you love whites? Maybe a little bit of both? You can make these personalized selections quickly and easily through the Macy's Wine Shop. What makes Macy's Wine Shop better than any other online wine club is that they deliver quality wines at unmatched price points, all within 1 to 3 business days. Seriously, I ordered my wine on a Monday and had already received them by that following Wednesday. And with our link, you get $50 off a 6-bottle box of Macy's award-winning wines, which is a $95 retail value. Head to the show notes of this episode to access the discount code, or you can head to our Instagram to find the link in our bio. Cheers! Being the brilliant mind he was, Galileo quickly got another job, again as the chair of mathematics at the University of Padua. He began teaching there in 1592 and would hold the position for another nearly 2 decades. And from what I've read, this position paid a lot more than the last one.
He was tenured there.
He was. And that's what they called it at that time too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. To switch from Galileo's professional life to his personal life, he would have 3 children with a woman named Marina Gamba, whom he never married. And I find it extra interesting that Galileo never married the mother of his children, particularly the mother of 2 daughters. They had 1 son and 2 daughters. Because, I think it was on purpose. He didn't want to pay the dowries to his potential future son-in-laws. And so as long as his daughters were not legitimate, they were considered unfit to wed.
Well, that's kind of
messed up.
Messed up.
Yeah. Galileo was absolutely strapped for cash the majority of his life. When his father passed away, he took on the duties of head of household, which meant that Galileo then was responsible for paying the dowries to his brother-in-laws, his sister's husbands. Crazy. Different times. Crazy times.
Yeah.
His brother, Michelangelo, whom I mentioned earlier, was not only unable to contribute to these dowries as well, but he
doing the career daddy liked.
well, wait, he also oftentimes had to ask Galileo for money. So, struggling musician. They've been around for thousands of years.
Since the 1500s, people.
Hundreds of years, yes. Potentially thousands of years.
Potentially, probably.
Likely. Anyone in the arts struggled. But Galileo was in the sciences, struggled,
yeah,
for most of his life. So it's suspected that much of this financial burden is actually part of why Galileo invented as much as he did, as a way to make ends meet.
Yeah.
He established what I call several streams of income, what my husband called side hustles, between his salary at the university, his inventions, private tutoring, and even taking in boarding students. And he avoided financial loss by never claiming his own kids.
Right. There's that.
There is that. One of Galileo's greatest, and I mean, I'm not going to go into this a lot because that's pretty much almost all that I mentioned about his family in this episode, because so much of what I'm focusing on is just his contributions to the scientific revolution.
Yeah.
But just to touch very quickly on the kids thing again, to not marry their mom as a woman, he essentially dictated the only career path that his daughters could ever have, which I don't know if I want to use. I put career in quotations.
Yeah.
It was basically to become like a nun.
Yeah.
Like to join the church and never marry. And that's just cruel in a way.
I'm like not as familiar with like the mindset or expectations of men at this time, but I feel like I know in like modern society or like a little further back, it's definitely like, you know, make sure your name survives.
Yeah.
And he's essentially like not doing the exact opposite of that.
Yes. His son would later legitimize himself.
Okay.
And so people acknowledge like, oh, he's Galileo's son.
Yeah.
But for his daughters, I mean, he screwed them over. Like he gave them, here's your one life path and you have no other option or alternative. It's really sad.
And I don't like that.
No. One of Galileo's greatest inventions was an improved telescope. It's important to note that Galileo did not invent the telescope, although that's something that he is sometimes mistakenly credited with. The true inventor of the telescope could really be an episode in and of itself, given that there are like half a dozen people that claim to be the first. And while there are others that may have invented it beforehand, Hans Lippershey was the first to apply for a patent for the telescope. So he gets the credit. The year after Lippershey applied for this patent, Galileo first learned about the spyglass, a very small sort of telescope.
Like what pirate captains hold in their hands.
Yeah, inspired by it, he began making his own version of the telescope. And by that, I don't mean just like drawing up the designs and plans and whatnot. Galileo was literally grinding the lenses and everything on his own.
Yeah, they didn't just, you couldn't just order glass on the internet.
True.
Yeah.
But I just find that amazing.
That's
like
crazy.
he was brilliant beyond what I can fathom.
Yeah. Like I'm picturing from A Walk to Remember how she builds or he builds her telescope.
He does.
Yeah. And like he could order all that
from Amazon.
Well, maybe not.
Not at that time.
No, but from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Was probably around back then, right?
Yeah.
And the internet, maybe.
eBay.
Questionable. eBay, probably. Galileo had to carve.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes, and it's not
stone.
like, I mean, it's putting like lenses that magnify, like
to the perfect, like the perfect width
degree.
Yeah.
But like this is beyond anything I could ever fathom.
I can't.
No,
I can't. I actually was impressed by A Walk to Remember.
Yeah, I forgot that actually makes that even more stupid to me.
Right.
In A Walk to Remember that he built her a telescope. Please.
Yeah.
Please, Shane. I'm glad that you brought up A Walk to Remember because that just puts that into even more like ridiculous perspective for me that is not possible.
Right.
Who do you think you are? Galileo?
Yeah.
Landon? I don't think so. Galileo's improved version of the telescope allowed the naked eye to see things at 8 to 9 times magnified. What could humans be interested in looking at so far away that they would need magnified 8 to 9 times?
Le moon.
Le luna. Yeah, that's exactly what Galileo was looking at. He looked to the moon. Now, he wasn't the first to do this. Many before him had. But with this improved technology, he was able to see the moon in a way no one ever had before. Contrary, once again, to Aristotle's belief that the moon was this perfect luminescent planet, Galileo found that the moon not only had texture and craters, it also had phases, and he was able to document all of these phases. He then turned the telescope to other areas of space, like Jupiter, where he discovered the 4 moons that revolve around that planet.
What?
I know. He observed the phases of Venus. He took notes of the rings around Saturn. He wrote about Neptune, although he believed it to be a star rather than a planet at the time. He observed the stars and the Milky Way. He saw spots on the sun. He wrote of these discoveries and published his works, making a name for himself and ultimately becoming one of the highest paid professors at his university. It's mind-blowing.
I just can't imagine being like the first person to like look at f***ing Jupiter.
And to have I want to use the word self-confidence, but it's not really self-confidence in his genius, like to be brilliant enough to understand what you're looking at and to feel confident and comfortable in saying, I observed rings around this planet. I observed moons around this planet. I would be like, there's a circle with some other shapes around it.
Right. No, how do you even fathom what you're looking at? That's what's so crazy to me. But he was smart enough to be able to.
Yep. Along with his popularity came connections with high-powering people. Galileo would become familiar with the Medici family, the ruling family in Florence for nearly 300 years. And I do want to acknowledge, I've always heard it Medici. That's the way I was always taught it. But I think in more recent years, they've determined it might be Medici. Historians
I say
maybe
Medici.
have. So I just want to acknowledge that if anyone is going to correct me, I'm aware that there is a potential alternative pronunciation.
All right.
To keep them on his good side, Galileo even proposed that the moons around Jupiter be named the Medicean stars. The Medici family obviously liked this because they appointed him as the chief mathematician and philosopher to the Medici family.
Wow. That sounds like a title that like you bestow upon someone that means nothing.
What is it? The assistant
to the assistant branch manager.
Yes. That's what Galileo was, except that he was a genius.
Right. Except that he actually deserved titles.
He deserved to be the assistant regional manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. You are the chief philosopher to a really rich and powerful family.
Right. Congrats.
Like, cool.
Yeah. Great.
Don't have to work at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, things are looking pretty good for Galileo, right?
Totally.
Well, after all of his studies of space and stars and planets, Galileo became more and more convinced of Copernicus's theory of heliocentrism, that the Earth is just another planet and it, along with the other planets, revolve around the sun at the center of the universe.
Can I just have one nerdy moment?
Please. Oh my God. I live for nerdy moments.
Okay. Can we just talk about the fact that this was what, the 1500s? And then in, 2001 or something, when Pluto was discovered to not be a planet, it took us that long.
That's a great point.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting. I think
there's in so many ways, like, society and science has like exponentially like increased, but then it's also like we're so stupid.
But I think what we'll see a lot in this episode, and what I think we've kind of talked about earlier in relation to something else that I currently can't remember, is a lot of the time these discoveries take so long because you have to change the narrative and the way people are thinking, and people don't
challenge people.
Thank you. You have to challenge people, and people don't like being challenged. They don't like their minds being changed. And that's why these scientific revolutions of any kind, take a really long time because of human nature. This was highly, highly controversial, considering the fact that the Catholic Church had quite literally banned Nicholas Copernicus's book about heliocentrism. Not that we're familiar with book banning or anything like that.
No.
You see, it was widely believed at the time that the Bible supported the theory of the Earth at the center of the universe.
How?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. In my research, I read the scriptures that are said to support this theory. I didn't even include those scriptures in the episode because they're not worth it, because they don't. support this theory. Like, I guess I can kind of see that interpretation.
Can you? Yeah.
Question mark.
Yeah.
But it's just an interpretation. The Bible does not anywhere clearly say, yes, the earth is at the center.
The center of the universe.
It also doesn't say anywhere, no, the earth is not the center.
Right.
It's all man's interpretation. But because this was the widespread interpretation and belief at the time that the Bible did indeed place the earth at the center of the universe, going against that theory was heresy.
Right.
Galileo wrote a letter to a student of his in which he attempted to say just this. Galileo, being a religious man himself, clarified that he was not saying the Bible is not true and accurate, but rather perhaps man's interpretation of it was not. This letter that Galileo wrote to a student, it would end up finding itself in the hands of the Pope of Rome. Big yikes. Oops. Pope Paul V had Galileo summoned to Rome, where he was ordered, in relation to the Copernican theory, quote, not to hold, teach, or defend in any way whatever, either orally or in writing, unquote.
Cool.
Galileo would attempt to argue his side, saying once again that he was not in disagreement with the Bible. Rather, people are just kind of stupid and ignorant and reading the text incorrectly.
Right.
His argument fell on deaf ears, and he would eventually return to Florence, where he would keep his lips sealed about any theories that he had that could be potentially contradictory to the Bible.
And I wonder how far he would have gone without those structured systems.
Yeah. I actually hadn't thought about that. How many more discoveries would Galileo have had if he wasn't threatened or worried that his work would be discontinued by more powerful figures?
Yeah.
Ooh. Galileo was encouraged, however, when a friend and supporter of his was elected as Pope Urban VIII in 1623. Not only was Urban a buddy, Urban was also a believer in heliocentrism.
Oh.
Yeah. Urban encouraged Galileo to begin arguing against geocentrism once again, but to maybe do it more tactfully this time. For example, instead of arguing strictly for heliocentrism, like maybe you could sprinkle in some arguments against it too. Galileo would go on to publish a book in 1632 titled Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems, in which he would argue the two theories as requested. This is probably my favorite part of this whole story. This is just like so... I love this. How Galileo wrote this book was by creating 3 fictional characters that are essentially just debating with one another about which of these world system theories is correct. Mm-hmm. This piece is really important because it's the piece that would end up getting him in trouble. Oh. One character was named Salviati, who is clearly the brightest of the 3 men and the one strongly in favor of heliocentrism.
Okay.
Segredo is kind of somewhere in the middle. He's the character that can see both sides of the argument. He kind of plays the fence. And then there is Simplicio.
Okay.
Who is portrayed as kind of a dummy.
Okay.
And the believer in geocentrism.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the name Simplicio in Italian, it quite literally translates to simpleton.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I could tell you that, and I don't speak Italian.
You could figure that out.
Yeah. So maybe the naming was not...
Not only the naming, but the character traits. Like, one is clearly a genius and the other one's stupid, right? I think maybe Galileo wasn't quite as neutral as he had been ordered to be.
Right.
Even worse than that, when the book finally reached the hands of Pope Urban VIII, Urban interpreted the character of Simplicio as intended to represent himself.
Oh, no.
This was really, really bad. You do not want the Pope of Rome on your bad side, much less a pope that had previously been on your side and had really supported your ventures.
Oh, no.
As a result, in August of 1632, all printers were told to stop producing copies of the book.
Oh, God, but I can so relate thinking something's about me when it's absolutely not.
It has nothing to do with
you.
you.
The world revolves around me, obviously.
It revolves around the sun.
No, the earth.
Oh. I told you were a geocentrist. The Earth, aka me. The Earth, the planet on which I live, is where everything revolves and rotates.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I fully understand that.
Yeah, like,
fully.
Could you imagine reading something and being like, no, that's about me?
I think, yes, because I've done that before.
Yes.
Can I understand that? Yes. I do think that the Pope is not totally off here. Like,
well, yeah.
Like, I can see there being maybe some weight to that character supposed to kind of portray him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you want me to write about both sides? Here you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the side that is the opposite of what I believe, I'm going to make it look like the dumber side.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't necessarily blame him for that. Like, let me show you that this is the more informed side.
Yeah.
I get that.
I totally get that. Obviously, he has a belief system. It's hard
just
to
don't call
not.
it Simplicio.
That's bad. That's bad.
That's bad.
It's bad. Yeah. So in September of that same year, in 1632, the same year that these books had to stop production, Galileo was ordered to appear in Rome to defend his book. Galileo would not end up appearing before examiners until April of the following year, in which he was told that his publication of this book was in direct violation to the oath that he had taken in 1616, in which he had promised not to promote heliocentrism publicly ever again. Galileo argued that, hey, I didn't promote heliocentrism in my book. In fact, I gave arguments against heliocentrism in my book.
They were dumb arguments, but I put them in there.
No, obviously this didn't fly. I think we can understand that too. It's like you're supposed to give pros and cons, but when the pro list is like 100 pages longer than the con list,
Yeah.
obviously you had a side that you were favoring here. Galileo would be found guilty of heresy, sentenced to house arrest to last the remainder of his life, and all of his works would be banned, even works he wrote in the future. Because of his once close relationship with the Pope, he was allowed to serve out this house arrest at his own villa near Florence. We mentioned this in the intro. I had said, he kind of got off lighter than would be expected.
Yeah.
Originally, his sentence was life imprisonment. And again, it's because of that relationship with the Pope that the Pope was like, I'll go, quote unquote, easy on you by allowing you to do house arrest instead of life imprisonment. And I'm going to let you do the house arrest in your own home, in your own villa near Florence.
I'll do house arrest in a villa near Florence.
Yeah, please arrest me. Please. I'll take it. Now, just because he was under house arrest did not mean that Galileo stopped working. No, of course not. In fact, this time inspired him even more.
Yeah.
While under house arrest, he would develop what would be considered one of his best pieces of work to date, a book titled Discourses and Mathematical Demonstrations of Two New Sciences. It is because of this book that Galileo is often also referred to as the father of modern physics. Because of the ban on publishing his work in Italy, he had this new book smuggled to the Netherlands and had it published there.
Wow.
Galileo had suffered with pain and various illnesses throughout his life. When he was young, he once got so sick that he was deaf for nearly a year.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
Super scary. Throughout most of his life, he dealt with horrible arthritis, and toward the end of his life, he went nearly blind. On August 8th, 1642, he would die at the age of 77 from heart palpitations and a fever. Due to his conflict with the Roman Catholic Church, a request to bury Galileo in one of the monumental tombs of the church was denied. Instead, he had to be buried in an unmarked area of a church called Cappella del Noviziato. As I believe most of us know, however, Galileo's reputation would be vindicated in the years to come, particularly during the Enlightenment period. Many realized that Galileo had been right all along. Due to this rehabilitation of reputation, he was officially moved to the Basilica Santa Croce in Florence. And I mean, it's a pretty nice tomb if you ask me. So let's check it out. We have a picture of Galileo's tomb.
Well, it's quite decorated.
Yeah, it's quite gold.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's got multiple statues and carvings. It's got marble, gold. It looks nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
It's beautiful. When I looked up Galileo's tomb, I was not expecting that
Really?
at all. It's stunning.
Yeah.
A number of things happened when they moved Galileo's tomb. For one, they discovered that there were two other bodies buried in there with him.
What the heck?
Yeah. After doing some research, they found one to be a student of his, Vincenzo Viviani. Viviani was very important to Galileo. He wrote the biographies of Galileo's life and works, and is one of the reasons we know so much about him today. It's actually said that he was there when Galileo died. So it was requested for him to be buried alongside Galileo. The other body took more research to determine identity. It was a woman much younger than Galileo. It's believed today that this is Maria Celeste, one of Galileo's daughters, who had passed in 1634.
Could you imagine just being like, oh, his daughter died. Let's throw Throw her in that hole.
Yeah. But I think this was all part of his request. Although he never claimed his children as his own, he loved them and he actually was pretty close to them. Yeah. And she visited him a lot when he was under house arrest. Mm-hmm. Also, while moving Galileo's body to the church in Florence, they did one other thing. I'm just going to have you look at the picture and tell me what you see.
Okay. Is that a finger?
Yeah.
Or a penis?
I knew you were going to guess one of those two things.
What is this?
The first one.
Okay, it's a finger. What is it?
That is Galileo's middle finger.
Middle finger?
Yeah, his middle finger. His middle finger to the church.
Right.
When his body was moved to its final resting place, 3 of his fingers and a tooth were removed.
Why? Pourquoi?
Pourquoi? The fingers and tooth can now be seen at a museum in Florence.
Cool.
Should you be interested in that?
I might have been to that museum. I don't know.
We have a lot to thank Galileo for, much more than I was able to cover in this episode, but his experiments and discoveries in the areas of heliocentrism, telescopes, gravity, inertia, physics, planets, stars, and so much more are the reason we are as far along in scientific discovery as we are today. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Hashtag History.
We'll share the pictures that we discussed on the episode to our Instagram, and all sources used to put together this episode can be found on our website at hashtaghistory-pod.com.
Subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use, share about us with your family and friends, and then give us a rate and review.
And be sure to check us out on Instagram. We're at #history_podcast.
And come join us over on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can help support our books and booze supply. You also get access to some behind the scenes content, an automatic 15% off all merchandise, and we mail you cards and stickers.
Thanks.
Bye. Do you watch the British Baking Show?
Or a 3, 2, a 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you always, I mean, obviously you always have to cut out just the stupid shit we say at the beginning. You know the first 10 seconds are bullshit.
Until I see
welcome. Yeah. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
This is, I was like, wait, I don't say that. This is relativity.
But
This interest Luke, oh my god, in 16 so stupid sounds. I'm trying to think of a spin. You can't call it the Galileo cocktail specifically.
The Galileo
Galliano cocktail.
The Galliano cocktail.
Galliano cocktail.
No. What's his last name?
Galilei.
Galilei. The
Galileo Galilei
cocktail.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was trying. Did you see? I was like,
you're like, yeah. No, I don't like it. Yeah, and I recommend don't do the traditional Galliano because that's gross, Grossy. We're doing
the original Galileo. You said Galliano.
Don't do the original Galliano. Don't do the original. It's very complicated. Just I can't look at it.
Okay. His name's Galileo. In case you haven't heard of him before.
Don't do the original Galileo cocktail.
I don't know why I was gonna say pissa.
Girl.
He was born in Pisa, Italy. Oh, dude, if I did that, we would get roasted.
Roasted, yeah.
Vincenzo Galilei.
Look at you.
Isn't that how you say it, Vincenzo?
Yeah, but look at you for knowing that.
Well, I mean, I'm part Italian, so no, I'm not. I don't have any Italian at all in my blood.
Really?
We're
not making sense because we're not scientists.
It's weird, stupid. This is going to be really fun for you to edit later.
I'm so tired.
It's going to be actually horrible for you to edit later because we're like 40 something minutes and I interpreted this as a shorter episode.
Oh my god, just go.
All right.
Shane.
What was his name in the movie?
I think you're right. I think it was Shane.
Isn't that his real name?
Oh, is it?
Shane something. I think that's the actor's name.
Ashton? No.
What's a risky bad boy name?
Bad boy.
Ashton.
Travis.
Travis is a bad name.
I'm going to look it up.
Jake. No, I really want to see. And also, what's the real guy's name? Shane? Is it
You got it.
Wait,
it's
is that his name in the movie?
Shane.
Oh, okay. What is
Yeah.
his real name then?
Oh, wait, no. Shane West is his real name.
See, that's what I thought.
Hold on. I want to make sure that's it. Shane. No. It's Clay. Clay Gephardt. Wait, no.
That's
Clay is the guy that jumps off the bridge.
Yeah, Clay is definitely not his name. Clay's
Landon.
not Landon. Dude, I literally started crying. Wait till you listen back to that. You were so confident. Shane. And I will my hands and pray. Oh yeah, that's right. Pray to be only your side. Pray. Oh my god, I love that.
Mic drop. Okay.
I don't know if that was as smart as I thought it sounded.
No, it was. It was really good. I'm drunk.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say. I don't know about your opinion.
This was like
because you were looking at me like
3
this.
ounces of alcohol.
I thought you said 3 ounces of drunk. Water? Okay.
It just with flavor squirting in it, but Jesus Christ. I haven't been this drunk in a long time.
I'm really glad.
I'm so sorry.